This next project is called the Tennis Ball Obstacle Course. And this is what it looks like over here on the right side. The task that you're going to have is to draw these walls of whatever color you wish. You're going to have a home button on the right side, and the tennis ball is on the top left. So that's where the ball is going to start. And then you're going to use the arrow keys on your computer keyboard to move through the maze. Okay, so let's start this off. We'll go to the Scratch website, Create tab, delete the cat, and close the tips window, or is actually the tutorial window. Then we're going to go to the Backdrop tab, and we're going to draw these 4 rectangles that are over here. So you're going to draw these using the paint tool for the backdrop. And a tip here is to use the arrow selection icon so that you can grab these rectangles and move them and size them the way you wish. Then we're going to add the tennis ball sprite and then the code for the tennis ball. Start the program with the green check flag like we usually do. We're going to initialize the location of the ball by this XY coordinate, which is actually the top left-hand corner of your screen. I'll show you more about these coordinates as we get into it. Then we're going to forever check to see if we're touching the wall. So the tennis ball, if it's touching this color, so we're really testing the color of the wall, but I don't know what kind of color you're going to choose. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show this to you, and we're going to use the paint feature. It's called the Eyedropper or the paint dropper, and we're going to select that color that you've chosen for over in here so that we can test it out to see if we actually are touching the color, which means we're touching the wall. Well, if we're touching the wall, then we're going to glide for a half a second back to the initial coordinates of where the ball started, which is up here, the XY coordinates. Well, that's testing to see if we touch a wall. To move the ball, we're going to use this code here. And there are 4 of them, and they're going to be when we're using your keyboard. So if you select the up arrow, here's the down arrow, here's the right arrow, and the left arrow. Well, when you select, for example, the up arrow, you're going to point into direction of 0 degrees and move 10 steps. To go down, we're going to change it to 180 degrees and move 10 steps. So that's going up and going down. To go left and right, well, the left arrow is minus 90 degrees and the right arrow will be a positive 90 degrees. And I'll show this to you in the code. Then we're going to also add the home sprite, and we're going to put that in the lower right-hand corner because the code for that sprite, this home button, is touching the tennis ball. Then you're going to say, I win. So the goal is to get the tennis ball to touch that home button. So let's see how this looks in Scratch. So I started here by already creating the code for the ball, the tennis ball sprite, and I also created the code for the home button. And over here in the display area, here's the home button. I'm going to put it where I think it's going to be. And the tennis ball I have up here already in the kind of the starting position. You may have noticed I have not created the rectangular walls yet. I wanted to show that in this video. So let's do that. I'm going to come down here to the backdrop, and I'm going to select the paint for the backdrop. And it automatically opens the backdrops paint tab. And let's make sure I'm in the vector mode, because that's the one that has these straight lines. Well, over here on the bottom, you can kind of see what it says. It says convert to bitmap. That means I am already in vector. Also, take a look at this line right here. See how nice and straight it is? If I go into bitmap, now take a look at these symbols. Here's the line symbol, and you can see it's kind of like got little dots. Those are the pixels that are called for bitmap. So we're going to go to vector. Okay, so make sure you're in this one where the line is nice and straight. Then you know you're in vector mode. Okay, I'm going to draw some walls. And I can come over here and choose a color. I'll just randomly select that nice bright pink there. And my outline, do I want an outline? I'm going to say no. I'm just going to have a pink rectangle. So instead of having a border, I am going to make it, I'm going to click this down arrow and make it 0. So there's this slash here. That means there is no border. So when I draw a rectangle, there's no border. So I'm going to just draw a few of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one really long here and wide. And if I click the mouse, then none of these are selected. So this was that tip in the document before. If you grab the select button, you can click on one of these, and these little handles here allow you to reshape it and move it around. So maybe I'll go all the way up to the top. Now, if I like these walls, I could even click on that, make a copy, and then I think if I hit paste right away, see there's a copy right there. So let's do that. I'm going to move that one over there, that one over here. Because remember, this is like an obstacle course. And the home button, if you remember, the home button should be in the lower right, and the ball is going to start up on top here. So make sure you have enough room for the ball to move around. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to then go to the code tab, and I want to make sure the tennis ball is highlighted because this is the code. And in this code, it says if the tennis ball is touching the color, then I'm going to move back to my home position. This is the XY coordinate of this up here. Well, that color here is not the same as that pink over here. So what I'm looking at is this color here does not match that color. So to make sure it matches, you can click on this. Now you could slide these all over the place and try to match it perfectly, or check this out, this little eyedropper. What that will do is if I click on this, so I'm going to click on this now. Now see how, oh, this is highlighted over here. And look, it's like a little magnifying glass, isn't it? And in the center, whatever I click on, so I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click now. That means that this color slides here, these sliders, will match exactly as what I just selected. So this color here is exactly that color there because I used that eyedropper. So that's really a cool thing to learn and know how to use. Okay, the other thing, I'm going to kind of scroll down a little bit. Part of our program was to use the keyboard. So in the, let's see, I think that's under events. Because if I select here, when a key is pressed, and let's say I'm going to choose the, in my drawing, in my document, it shows the up arrow is the first one. So I'm going to select the up arrow. When the up arrow is pressed, I'm going to point in a direction. So that's going to be a motion. Point in direction. Here we go. Point in direction. I'll drag that over. And then it wants to move 10 steps. That's when I hit that up arrow button. And this up arrow means up, right? Well, if I click on this 90 here, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Take a look at that. Now, 90 degrees is to the right, not up. I want to go with the up arrow. I want to change this. So I'm just using my mouse to go to 0 degrees. So point in direction 0 when I hit the up button. Now I'm going to go with the down button. But let me show you a trick first. Instead of dragging these 3 blocks over again, I'm going to go to the topmost block and right-click on it because there's duplicate. I'm going to make a duplicate of that code. So if I click on duplicate, there, I'll put it there. And this is going to be the down arrow. So all I have to do is edit now. So I'm going to go down. And if 0 degrees is up, how many degrees is straight down? Any idea? Let's see what we got. I'm going to put that arrow all the way down, 180 degrees. Okay, let me scroll down because I'm going to make another duplicate. And in fact, this one is the left arrow. And I know the left arrow is going to go to the left, so I can point in that direction. That's minus 90 degrees. Maybe I'll duplicate this, and this is going to be the right arrow. And if I make this one go to the right. Or if you know the number, you can just type it in too. Okay, I think I've got it all figured out. Let's see if it works. I'll hit the green flag. So on my keyboard, I'm going to push the down arrow. Looking good. I'm going to push the right arrow, and let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. When you hit that color, it's going to glide back to the starting point. And if I come to the home button, let's see. There it says I win. Because remember that home button code? If touching the tennis ball, then say I win. So that's your program. It was a little bit tricky drawing these rectangles, but if you make a mistake, make sure you select the stage or the backdrop here. Go back to your paint feature, and here you can make your edits. And, if you didn't want rectangles and you wanted circles, go for it. That's fine. If you want to make sure the color matches, you can right-click. Nope, not there. I think here. Nope. If you left-click, oh, there's the eyedropper again, too. So you can make sure you get the perfect color combination. So that eyedropper can be a lot of fun. So have fun with this. It's a good time. Bye-bye.